Howdy ladies and gentlemen of the north, south, east and west. It is review time once again, and today's review comes in the final installment in the Harry Potter film series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. So yes, here it is, after all this time, the last Harry Potter film, and after seeing the film twice, I feel that I am now ready to do my review. So the Harry Potter series has been going now for 10 years, ever since Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone started in 2001. We as the film audience have been taken on a journey throughout all of Harry Potter's life, right from when he was a little kiddie to his later teenage years. And one has to wonder, was it worth the wait? I say, hell yes. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a fabulous film, and once you watch it, everything comes full circle. The film is not only a good closure for the series, but it's also a fantastic retrospective of 8 wonderful films that filled us all with happiness, joy, sorrow, and a range of different emotions. And while the Harry Potter film series has received a fair amount of rectifications in its transition from book to film, with certain characters or scenes being changed or removed entirely, all new scenes being added, I think it can safely be said that the Deathly Hallows films, Part 1 and Part 2, do well to pay homage to its original source material. And while certain things have been changed within this film, and more importantly some other adaptations that my friends have told me about in Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix, I think that overall the way that they have been adapted into film still works, and overall the Harry Potter film series is a great adaptation of the original source material. Now I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, before the Harry Potter films came out, I was not interested one bit in the books. I couldn't see what the fuss was all about and I didn't want to know. But then after seeing the first film, I was enchanted with the magic. And after the first film, I just happened to get hooked into the world of Harry Potter. And while I missed number 2 and number 3 in the cinema, I watched the films Goblet of Fire right up until the Deathly Hallows Part 2 in the cinema. And I have enjoyed the big screen appearances of Harry Potter immensely. And so, let's move on to the story of Harry Potter 7 Part 2. So the story basically picks up right where Part 1 left off, with Harry, Ron and Hermione going to find the final Horcruxes to weaken Voldemort so then they can take him out once and for all. And while this is happening, Voldemort is gathering his forces to go about and to finally take on Harry Potter. So this is the final great battle to end all battles, good versus evil. On one side you have Harry Potter and his comrades of good witches and wizards. And on the other side you have Lord Voldemort, evil wizard extraordinaire, with his legion of Death Eaters. And so the story of the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is definitely crafted in a wonderful fashion in this film. There's exploration, adventure, action, war, nostalgia, pain, suffering, and so much more. The story of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in its film adaptation is wonderful, and once you see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, you will understand why it had to be split up in 2 parts. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 was literally the build-up towards this film, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 basically does what it says on the tin. It is full of drama, it is full of action, adventure, and discovery, and it is a fabulous finish to the series. So now, let's move on to the actual cast of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson give us their best performances in the entire series, in my opinion, in Part 2, as Harry, Ron and Hermione. And I wanted to go back and give a special mention to Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall. I think she is the awesomeness. The screen time that she does get in the film is just fantastic, and I just wanted to go back and applaud her for her work in the Harry Potter series. And I also want to go back and give a mention to Alan Rickman as Severus Snape. He is just the awesomeness. I swear to you, if I ever met this guy, I would die with happiness. He portrays so many different levels to his character. He's always been one of my favourite characters in the Harry Potter series ever since I saw him in the first film. And even though he's sort of painted as a bad guy, you just want to go about and hug him because he's that cool. And last but by no means least, we have to go about and give a good shout out to Voldemort. Lord Voldemort has to be one of the coolest villains in any film series. In any film I've actually seen for quite some time. He is dark, he is demented, he is twisted, and he is so funny as well. He is a legend. He is just one of the coolest guys ever. When he's going about and shooting out spells, killing people and just cruising about, you know what the deal is, man. Voldemort is just wicked. I think he is just one of the best guys ever. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but to me, Voldemort comes across as the villain that you always want to win. He's so cool and he's so badass. You just want him to go about and succeed and just kill off Harry Potter because he is just so amazing. Ralph Fiennes is just a fabulous actor. He was cast perfectly as Lord Voldemort. So, you know, I salute you, Ralph Fiennes. And strangely enough, in these dark times in the Harry Potter world, there is a lot of humour in the film as well. And there are a good few light-hearted scenes in the film. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the presentation of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And my goodness, does Part 2 look good. If you thought Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 had some good visual effects, take a look at Part 2. It will blow your mind. Never Has Magic looks so amazing. The visuals in the film is just fantastic. The CGI is just taken to the maximum. And I think it's Industrial Lights and Magic that worked in this film as well. And it looks fab. All spells that are shot from wands all look fabulous with great amounts of detail, colour and shape and form. It all just looks wonderful. The CGI used to go about and convey the war as well. There is just so much going on the screen from left, right and centre. Everything is just going on and going down and it's very crisp and detailed. It is just fabulous to look at. And the film score done for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is wonderfully crafted as well. The film score crafted by Alexandre Desplat is fantastic and hits all of those emotional key parts along with the other themes that were crafted by the legendary John Williams and Nicholas Hooper. Also, I wanted to go back and give a mention to the dialogue in Part 2 of Deathly Hallows. It is well written and some quotes in the film are just wonderful, would touch the soul or enter your mind or leave you thinking about what was said. And it's that kind of dialogue, ladies and gentlemen, that is well written. And I know after I've seen this film a good few times, I'm going to go about and start quoting it like I have with the other 7 Harry Potter films, along with my good old friend Tuco, because we love our quoting wars. Now, for all the good points I've gone about and said about this film, there are a few noticeable things that one could consider to be either bad or possibly wrong. Now, certain things happen with certain characters that I felt needed a bit more explaining for those not in the know. Firstly, there just seems to be certain scenes that take place in the film where you're left with a slightly confused look on your face, wondering as to how it happened or when it happened. And also, there's certain scenes in the film where I wish a little bit more dialogue could have been used for some of these shots where there's certain characters just standing around or sitting there just doing nothing. And I felt maybe a little dialogue within the scene possibly could have made the scene feel a little bit more important. And overall, there's certain things that could have been tackled in a different way than they were in the actual film. But overall, these small things that I have mentioned do not detract from the overall experience of the film. So in conclusion, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a fabulous farewell to the Harry Potter film series. After having 7 books adapted into 8 films, it is with sadness that a lot of fans, both of the books and the films, see the Harry Potter series go. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. And Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 definitely ends in style. And while it's not perfect, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is definitely as close to perfect as you're going to get. And I was glad to know that I watched those films when I did from the age of 11 up until the age I am now, 21. So overall, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. It was fabulous, and chances are I'm probably going to go back and see it again. So yes, that has been my review, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you found it informative, and as I always say, look forward to the next video when it comes. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hypersonic 55 signing out.